Hello, everyone, and welcome out to The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky, a podcast where I sit down with some of my friends in the local Columbus, Ohio theater, film and improv scene, and talk a bunch of geeky stuff. Some of it good, some of it bad, but all of it definitely geeky. If you enjoy our programs, be sure to subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and to leave a review, or subscribe and leave a review wherever you can get podcasts. Our official sponsor of the show is Audible. With over 200,000 titles to choose from, get one audiobook and 2 Audible originals each month included with your trial, even once your trial ends and normal membership begins. How rad is that? Best part is you own your library, meaning you keep the books even if you cancel with Audible. Plus, you get easy exchanges. So, don't love a book? Swap it out for free anytime. Sign up for your free trial over at audibletrial.com/goodbadgeeky. Download the Audible app and start enjoying your new audiobook. Also, support for this podcast has been made possible by our Kickstarter backers, Ashley Carson, Catherine Ranella, Wooz, Yannick, Doug Poeta, Christopher LeBlanc, Andrew, Kenny, Jerome Wetzel, Casey May, Anonymous, Tavia Ordway, Anthony Portillo, Jen and Brian Petrie, Guest 16554255418, Laura Spires, Kimberly Barr, Kyle Jepson. We here at The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky just wanted to offer the following discretion that this episode was pre-recorded in the last few months of 2019. In this episode, I am here with
Travis,
Becky, Jessica,
as we sit down and talk about Star Wars Rise of Skywalker on this episode of The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky. Join in the conversation by interacting with us via social media or email. Twitter and Instagram is username goodbadgeeky, or email me at goodbadgeeky@gmail.com. We may read your comment on the show. Also, before we go into our normal episode, we should point out that Erik was supposed to do our episode with. Erik is one of our Star Wars guys.
Yeah, Erik.
Yeah, Erik.
lame.
Lame.
Christmas.
Christmas. Look, literally, this is the 23rd we're recording this. So I kind of... Yeah, matter of fact, because he was just like, you just got your gallbladder out. Are you sure you're okay to do the podcast?
Are you sure?
We can't move it to next week. I was like, buddy, we've known about this for a while. No. I understand completely, Erik. We missed you greatly. But
I don't.
Wow. That was him, not me.
No, that was totally him.
And Erik and I totally talked about we are going to do a Mandalorian episode at some point with other people if they want to. But the idea is that Erik sent us a clip of his thoughts and some of the stuff we do talk about when we talk about it. So we'll go ahead and play that first, and then we'll begin the episode in earnest. Woo.
I am very sorry I cannot be there in person to talk with everyone about the Rise of Skywalker, but I am off to spend Christmas with my family, whose last name is Sternberger, in case any small children or elderly women stop me to ask. So, basically, this movie to me is like when a dad finds out like his kid did something bad at school and like does that cliche, "I'm not mad, son, I'm just disappointed." And that's how I feel about this. I feel like at every point, the non-challenging choice was made. The easy choice, the obvious choice, or there were times during the movie where I'm like, oh, is it going to go here? And it didn't. It undercut itself at every turn. It was like a thing would happen. Oh no, that thing happened. Oh, don't worry, everything's fine. You know, Chewie's dead. Oh no, I killed him. Wait, Chewie's okay. There was just like 8 different instances of that. C-3PO was going to lose his brain, not going to have any of his memories, and then, oh, here they are again. It felt like there were no real stakes or consequences to about 80% of what happened in that film, which makes it hard to care. Chuck Wendig had an amazing quote on Twitter about how J.J. Abrams likes to find the emotion that he wants people to feel in the theater and works backwards from there when making a movie. And the only problem with that is that when you leave a theater, you think. And that's kind of the problem with this movie, is that the more you think, the more it falls apart. If you can watch it a second time, it stands up a little bit better because you know the flaws, you know the issues, and you know the groans that are coming. To me, the mystery box of Rey's parentage was one I did not care about. It was the most least interesting thing going into this movie that I wanted to know and that I wanted to experience. And it was the number one thing for JJ. Even so much that if reading the visual encyclopedia, Lando it's very heavily hinted that the one lady, Jana, is his daughter, because it says in there that he became depressed when his infant girl was stolen from him by the First Order, and that's why he went on these quests with Luke. So I'm afraid in the extra 25 minutes that got cut out of this film, which is 25 minutes that we need to let things breathe and to get characterization, because the bullet points aren't bad, but I fear those extra 25 minutes is just going to be more bullshit, like, oh, look, Lando has a kid now, which is fan service stuff that really hit at times and hurt this movie. I'm going to go out on the last comment is the fact of how JJ pretty much hand-waved away everything from Last Jedi, even so much to have Rose basically write herself out of this movie with one piece of dialogue, where she can't go on a mission because she's washing her hair or something. Sidebar to that, the Leia stuff just felt really stilted and bad, like you were talking to an AI of Leia. But I never, ever want to do improv with J.J. Abrams. It's, like improv, the whole thing is yes and I felt like everything J.J. did was, yeah, okay, but it was like I can imagine going into a scene and J.J.'s like, here, I gave you a present. Oh, awesome. I completely forgot our anniversary. I'm so sorry. I didn't get you anything. JJ comes back with, that's okay. It's a Christmas present. Okay. But you just denied everything I just said about our anniversary, which is, now the audience is wondering, why aren't we talking about the fact that you're a shitty partner? Yeah, it was the combinations of that, and then I'm sad because I left the door open and my dog ran away. That's terrible. I know, it's all my fault. Yeah, but wait, is this your dog? Scruffy! That just made it hard for the brain to get into this movie as much as the heart liked certain things. So, anyway, I am off to do a fetch quest to get to my parents' house. There's a dagger somewhere that blends up with what 469 in Indiana looks like that will show me the way to their house, provided no one has done any construction in the last 30 years. So, may the Force be with you, and Merry Christmas.
So Star Wars, it was a thing that happened this last weekend.
Specifically, the rise of Skywalker.
In particular, the rise of Skywalker. And thus concluding the Skywalker saga, if it were. I mean, I kind of feel Skywalker was really only involved in 2 of the 3-part saga. But that's okay. Potato. We can get into that. We'll just go with quickly. We'll go around this way, because I'm bold and daring and different. Because it's the new year. What did you think, Jess, of Rise of Skywalker?
I liked it.
All right.
There were things I didn't like, but overall I was happy.
All right. Becky?
I'm with Jessica. I enjoyed it too. I mean, there were things I wish might have been a little bit different, but there were reasons why things weren't a little bit different, and
okay.
I enjoyed it overall.
It was not without its charm. I will rant about this later.
Travis loved it.
But you loved it?
It was not without its charm.
Very dignified, sir. I walked out disappointed, and there were parts I liked a lot, but I didn't feel like it was a satisfying ending. I just felt like I was like, well, that's, I guess, a way to end something that we've been involved in for a long time. The hell? There were some parts I really liked, but there were some other parts I did not like. My biggest thing, because I'm going to get the ball rolling right away, which Travis will probably disagree with me on, is...
Most likely.
I love The Last Jedi. It's like my top 3 of all of them. But the whole movie felt like a giant fuck you to everything built up in that. And of course, it's a problem of creative vision of who's running the ship. And like JJ didn't know what Ryan was doing, and then when JJ wasn't expecting to do the third one, it very much felt like, oh, well, Luke would never say that. Of course he's going to save the lightsaber and say that was stupid. I would have never thrown this away, but you did. I don't know. And the whole, and also I just hate the idea that Rey is a Palpatine, or anybody for that matter. That's the whole point, is that anyone can be Spider-Man. I mean, a Jedi. Anyone could be a Jedi. That was the beauty, I thought, of The Last Jedi, is you learn everything comes from failure, not necessarily success, and then you can come from nothing and be something.
I just thought up the name of a great young adult Sith-based cartoon called The Palpatines. No one?
No, I mean, it's funny. I was just trying to... In my head, I was like, is there the mom and dad? Is it like...
Sith High School. Anyway, go on.
No, it takes place during high school. Like Disney's Hercules, where
it's kind of like Justice League High or something
Rey
like
and
that.
Finn, even though they shouldn't know each other, they're going to the same school in Jakku. Yeah. It's just like, the fuck, this makes no sense.
I actually agree with what you said. I think Rise of Skywalker is a giant fuck you to The Last Jedi, which I think was a giant fuck you to The Force Awakens. It's too many guys. I think that was one of the big problems with this, is you had two guys with their own visions of what they wanted Star Wars to be, feuding with each other and basically turning it into a big mosh pit of crap.
Okay. I'm coming from the viewpoint, though, I didn't find Last Jedi to be crap. You know what I mean? So, which is a very difference of opinion between you and I. Which is funny, if you listen to our last episode,
yes,
you were just, but granted, I think you saw it the day of, and you were just like, I loved it, but I want to see it again, and I might have different thoughts. And then next time I saw you, you're like, I hated that movie.
I think I was being polite, honestly.
You were very polite. Super, super polite.
Yes.
But yeah, no. That's a... Well, I also feel this way, too, is that the movie has no stakes.
True.
It truly doesn't have any stakes. Nobody died except for Ben Solo. And guess what? He's the bad guy. And Palpatine. Actually, all the bad guys kind of died in some form or fashion. One of them got redeemed. The rest, they just died. Like, nobody died on our side. So, like, when Chewie died, Chewie died... I just remember I looked at my wife and I was like, that is a fucking bitch-ass way to go. Like, I was pissed. But I was like, that's what would happen. Something sad. Like, I feel like it was...
Well, so I was surprised there were two thingies. But then my friend that I saw it with, he was like, no, didn't you see the other one? And I was like, what? I didn't.
I didn't either.
Well, I saw it too.
Because he was like, no, he's still alive. He's on the other one. And I was like, what?
I didn't see that. I just thought the one that he got into was the one they focused on and the one she was grabbing. So I didn't see... I thought the other one was just another transport. And so in my brain, I was just like, well, why couldn't he be on the other one? Of course he was.
You know what? They got me. Because I thought Chewie died and I cried. And Travis looked over very concerned and mouthed, are you okay? And I was just like...
Well, it's Chewie. But then he's okay. So you know what? Your feelings mean nothing.
I still felt them, though. But then I did a silent, quiet, motionless happy dance in my head.
I did, too, but... Because then, if anything, I was like, well, C-3PO is going to die.
Why?
Or whatever version of death is. Nope. He gets his memory back from R2-D2, and everything's fine.
R2's going to have a backup. It's R2.
Yeah, but you heard what he said. He's like, well, his memory wipes, or his memory restorations are not worth a damn, or whatever. It's like... Yeah, he might survive, but he won't get his memory back, and that'll be sad. And technically, C-3PO will have died. But, no, he gets his memory back. He doesn't know what the fuck happened in the last week. No stakes.
So, my favorite part of the whole movie
yeah, get us some positivity.
Was when they go down the quicksand, and C-3PO is looking around, and he's like, is this the afterlife? Are droids allowed in? I laughed for an unnaturally long amount of time. That cracked me up.
I will say that C-3PO's, he, in my opinion, is the character, even though there's no stakes for him, is the best written character of the whole movie. Because he has some pathos, whatever that word is. But he has like a mini arc that has gone through the whole thing, and it kind of abruptly ends when because C-3PO is kind of shit on by everybody because he's a droid and he's an annoying one at that, an annoying know-it-all. But he cares about everybody, and so then that whole sacrifice he does, it's kind of like it's the one thing he can do in all these movies that is a genuine, straight up baller helping move. But even before that though, like his lines are just like fantastic.
It's a very dangerous but simple procedure.
Yes.
It's like, C-3PO,
Right.
stop, you're killing me over here.
Right, like there were so many different things that could have come from that. Like in my brain, I was just like, let me guess, the Sith version of him is going to turn evil and they're going to have to kill him. That's going to be heartbreaking because C-3PO would never do that. But then it's like, nope, they got what they needed and flipped it back on. And he's like, who are you? Hi, my name is C-3PO, Human Cyborg Relations. And I'm like, oh, okay. No, but C-3PO is the only character I feel that for the most part came out very unscathed. Like, Chewie, I guess, would be second place, but then they gave him that fucking medal that I never cared about. You know what I mean? We're well beyond that, and
man.
they don't talk about it.
I kept wondering if it was chocolate.
I like a good chocolate medal.
Chewie's wail when he found out Leia had died hurt me.
Where was that when
Hurt
Han died?
me.
No.
Clearly, he loves Leia more.
He just shot up
I
the
mean,
place
who
when Han
doesn't?
died.
It's Leia.
That is true.
And he blew up the place.
Fair
There's
enough.
just
Fair
like-
enough.
He expressed anger.
That
when
is
Han
true.
died.
He did. I'm just being a little.
But yeah, that was
the-
just like a,
Well, I just
Chewie,
remember though when
That hurt.
that was a major fuck up though when he got back and saw Leia at the end of Force Awakens. He did never go back to Leia. I mean, and they had like a weeping moment. They just didn't. Yeah, like so everyone's celebrating or saying sorry or whatever. Those two never get together. It's like and J.J. Abrams was like, yeah, that was a goof. That should have not. We should have put something in there. I was like, well, you could George Lucas it and redo it. But, I mean, she's dead now, so we can't do that.
Yeah.
Or can't they?
Well-
They did that through this entire movie.
So, did anyone have a problem with the Leia stuff?
Yes.
I mean, specifically just because they had to put something in there and she was dead and they could only use the footage they already had. So I was like, well, because then they're like, she knows what she has to do to get through to Kylo Ren.
has
And I
to
was like, die? She has to die? I don't get it. But I understand, I guess, that was your option because you used the 3 clips you had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which surprised me after so much, I think, was it 20 minutes that supposedly was cut out of Force Awakens, and most of it was with Leia, and supposedly. And there's like 3 scenes that you really couldn't use a lot of, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, it was kind of... Also, like, I just felt like... I don't know, man. I just felt like there were so many things just happened for the sake of them happening. Like, am I cool that Leia became a Force ghost? Yeah. But, like, we've already established in Clone Wars that you have to learn how to do that. And I don't know if Luke might have. But Leia, did he teach Leia? And also, did Ben fucking learn that? Or is Luke just teaching
Why
everybody?
didn't he? That was my major critique. At the end, when you see Mom and Dad, Luke and Leia force ghosting over here, I thought Ben should be there too.
That was a question, yes. He faded away.
Because it would have been a nice, because, what is it, Return of the Jedi? There's the 3 of them at the end.
Yeah.
And then we could have had 3, and it would have been like, here's all the last Skywalkers that just fucking died. And they're my family.
I guess one way to look, if I may, one way to look at Rise of Skywalker, imagine an entire movie that's essentially nothing but Easter eggs. Mm-hmm. I kind of feel like that's what this is.
Like the person
Like,
I was told was
call
Wedge
back,
Antilles.
call back. Did you get it? Did you see that? Wait a minute, that's like everything.
Well, isn't that more of a callback than necessarily an Easter egg, though? Possibly.
Aren't they the same thing?
Are they? I don't. I feel like Easter eggs are in the background. Like if you notice it, great. If not,
Well, except that all the Easter eggs are in the foreground, so it's like no fun trying to find them.
Okay, now I'm with you.
Yes.
Okay, I will. That's actually a good representation of this movie. Is that everything's a callback to everything, even shit that I didn't care about, or the characters apparently. Like, I had no idea. Like, this is not to go back to the Chewie thing, but like, I didn't know it really bugged Chewie. He didn't get a medal. That's a fan thing that people are like, I bet he was super sad he never got that medal. And then Maz gives him the medal, and I mean, oh, I don't give a shit. We could have taken that 30 seconds and put it with somebody else. The whole movie was very frustrating to me. But there are some really cool things. I'm just going to keep bitching about the things I didn't like. Why did they... I mean, yes, they have wonderful chemistry, but did anyone think for a second that after they kissed each other and he saved her, that then she would try to save him, and then she would die, and he would try to save her again, and it became a bit? Because in my head, I was like...
That would be a hilarious bit.
Please do this.
I wondered if they were going to do something like that.
Because you've already gone past the point of no return. Let's just do this. No, I will. I also, there's a part of me that doesn't mind that the Emperor... Because Palpatine's the bad guy in this, and Rey is a Palpatine. I guess that, you know, if anything, a lot of people who didn't like... Most people who didn't like Last Jedi didn't like the Luke thing. And I guess I can kind of see that, but take that out of it. A lot of things that people did like was Rey comes from nothing, supposedly.
And the fish nuns.
And the fish
We
nuns.
went to Fish Nun Island, and there was not a single fish
But there
nun.
was some
I
porgs.
did like the fish nuns.
Porgs can fuck off.
Jesus.
Also, can I just...
They were less sassy than the fish nuns.
The porgs?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you remember that from the last movie? You liked that. I'll bring that back. Nothing else but that.
Yeah. Oh, and do you remember that? Remember the ship in the water? We're going to bring that back for you too, because obviously he has to go save the day.
Yeah. How was it referred to? As like a Chekhov's gun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's a very
Instead of a symbol?
the fact that Luke had to do it and not her. That was the bummer. Like, I get that Luke... Like, look, I'm not going to lie. If I became one with the Force after doing this badass deed, and then I go, you know what? I was coming at it the wrong way, but you don't really necessarily get that. It's just a real quick, why would you throw this away? Like, kind of like a smart ass, kind of like, fuck you to the last movie in my character arc. But granted, you could still do that without saying fuck you to the previous movie. But that, I guess that was the thing, is that you can say, well, since I've become one with the Force, I've gotten a broader view of what's going on, and I was wrong to feel that way, but that's how I felt, and this is where we're at. This is what you need to do, but if you don't want to do it, well, then I guess you're just stuck here. I don't know. I just hated that Luke just... Things happen for characters so they can get to the next bit.
But I feel like that happens in every single Star Wars movie. It is all like, coincidentally, these droids showed up. Whoa.
Well, MacGuffin,
coincidentally,
yeah.
I found this thing. So I was not mad at any of that bullshit happening in this, because it happens in every single Star Wars
That
movie.
is
But
kind
just
of
because
a-
it happens in every Star Wars movie doesn't mean it should happen. Like, that's the...
But it doesn't make this one less quality because it does.
Also, lies are not twists. Can we agree on that? Lies are not twists in movies.
Oh, yeah. Because, was it Ben lied to her, but
Yeah.
he didn't lie to her?
About what?
About
her
well,
parents.
yeah, about her parents.
Oh.
Because
But he didn't lie. Didn't he believe it when he told her that she was nothing? And then I think he specifically says, but Palpatine told me, blah, blah, blah. I know who your real family is.
This is all sort of a from a certain point of view crap.
which
calling
Jesus
back-
Christ.
Ben Kenobi.
Yeah. I missed him.
It's like, is it a lie if you think it's the truth?
I guess.
But please.
Oh, I was gonna
please
say,
get some
going
happier
back to
stuff.
5 minutes ago with the like death, I didn't think Rey was actually all the way dead because she didn't disappear. So I feel like there was something in there, and she'd showed him. Sorry, I didn't mean to touch your boob. That you could heal.
Everybody, it's getting really
That you
sensual
could heal.
here.
When she healed him earlier, it's like, oh, I can do that. I can do that thing.
Well,
And then he used all his life force.
because even in the cartoon show, the animated series or whatever, even the comic books, they don't rely on the Force healing a lot, or they don't show it. They have a Mandalorian, and they have. This is the first time I've actually seen them like do a straight up like massive Force heal like that.
Well, clearly, because we just left Poe to be.
I have genuinely
shot.
never seen that before. Where was that from?
I know it from the video games. Like you can Force heal yourself. Like it's an ability that you can unlock if you're a Jedi, if you take the dark side.
So he mined all the content for this, didn't he?
You don't have access to a bacta tank, but you've got some force sensitivity there.
Right. And so part of me thought that was cool, but I was just like, okay, this is a video game.
She can bloodbend. It's fine.
Well, but they brought up this too, is that apparently it takes some of your life force away, or your life force of your force, that like your connection to the force. But does that mean at some point, like, you're just not good anymore with the force? Does it have to rebuild itself? Like,
or you just die, like he did.
Do you just have to hydrate?
And I'm dead.
Especially like, and the kiss was like, part of me was like, yeah, kiss. And then the other part of me was like, oh, I think I know where this is going to end, which she's going to take the name Skywalker. And I was like, ooh. I don't know.
I was very happy when they kissed.
There was a part of me that was happy too, but then I was just like, but this isn't going to have a... Oh, what did Finn want to tell Rey? I know the answer is because I looked it up, because that was a whole subplot that got completely fucking
Is it
cut
that
out.
he knows?
He knows he's force sensitive.
Oh.
That's what it is. I thought it was, I like you.
No.
I'm sorry. I
Get
wanted to
with
see
it,
Finn
Nick.
and Rey. I wanted to see Finn and Rey.
Finn Poe.
It's the
I
ship.
thought he was going to say, Rey, I like you. But I totally ship Finn and Poe.
I thought he was going to say, oh, Leia told me about you and your grandpa.
No,
because he kept being like, you don't know what she's going through, blah, blah, blah. And Poe's like, the fuck you do? You need to tell me.
I like Poe and Finn. I mean, if they could just do a threesome, that'd be cool too.
I'd be cool with it. Now
I saw it leading toward that.
Ben's dead now, so it's fine.
Yeah,
this is a series of movies for kids, by the way.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Polyamory doesn't have to be...
Lando's a good example of that.
Look,
in Solo.
They put a lesbian kiss in the background, but couldn't ball up and put a goddamn Finn Poe kiss. And I was like, come on, you're giving everybody else the fan service we want.
Come on.
Give it for this.
So I think something that also really irked me too was the treatment of Rose.
Yes.
From the last movie. She's like, literally, she's like, I'll go with you. And it's like, no, you just need to stay here. And it's just like, okay. Like, I felt like a very...
Well, how many truncated plot lines did they have with that? They had, like, all these characters from Force Awakens through. They kind of abandoned Maz Kanata. Who?
She showed up in Jedi. I felt like she was in all three. I mean,
barely.
I thought of her more as a character than yeah. It's a weird thing because I know apparently Kaz's part got cut down heavily in Force Awakens. Mm-hmm. Because I think originally the opening was supposed to be Luke's hand floating out in space with the lightsaber and Maz finding it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Because he said they had to change the opening of the movie because fans figured out there was a leak and fans figured out that was what the opening was, and so her part got cut down, which then cut down Leia's part or whatever. I don't know.
So she didn't keep the hand for any reason? I mean, that'd be kind of cool.
I mean, that would be kind of cool too. I don't know.
Kind of badass.
I mean, you never know.
Put that in a box.
It's a Jedi hand. I mean, it could be like
a monkey paw.
Jack Harkness on Torchwood keeping a hold of the Doctor's hand.
Well, so. There's a part of me that doesn't mind they didn't go into the how Palpatine survived. Like
I didn't care.
There's only so much you can care, honestly.
He's so evil.
Yeah, but
and my friend
was a weird time for him to come back.
My friend was telling me because I guess he's read some of the books and stuff. He's like, this is actually something that's been talked about or something, but with like Darth Plagueis.
Yep.
Kinda. So, if you read the extended universe or whatever the original extended before Disney bought it, and they said everything before is not canon, Palpatine cloned himself multiple times, and then that was the whole thing.
That was a comic series, actually.
Yeah. And I think Mara Jade, Luke's wife, came into play, and Luke. Same kind of thing happened. Luke had the Jedi Academy. It went tits up because Palpatine sent someone to destroy it. I think Mara destroyed it from the inside. Then he hunted down Mara to find the Emperor. They fell in love, but they were like dark and light and blah, 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 blah. Meanwhile, I think also like Han and Leia had the twins, and that was a storyline that was happening too.
Even the planet destroying gun that was attached to the ships kind of came out of that. It was a thing called the Galaxy Gun.
Yeah.
And about as lame.
Didn't they have a planet? They've always had planet-destroying weapons, haven't they?
They have, but they could never get it on a ship. They had to build it on something the size of the
He
planet.
had to have been doing something for 30 years attached to that, like, thing.
It's
Sucking the life force from his little people.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
I like so.
That's how he lives.
The one thing I do like about Star Wars is that it will do shit like that and go world building, like Jabba's palace. I want to know the layout of how he got into power, like how the family got into power. Just some little things here. It's world building, and I'm fascinated by the fact that he's been on this Sith planet probably in the Sith temple forever. But who are these fuckers? Like, because supposedly all the Sith are dead. So, like, are they just worshippers? Like, no.
Maybe they're his clones.
I'm fascinated, but shouldn't they all be fucking electrocuting Bannon instead of like going pew 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 pew?
Well, maybe they're lesser clones because they can't all be
Yeah, 'cause
electrocuting. Because
Yeah.
if they're all as powerful as like Palpatine, what Prime, I guess, is, then
That's fucking
then
good.
like you've got
Palpatine.
chaos. You just have a planet of like force
Palpatine.
lightning and like no one emerges. Or is it like the Highlander where like they just like fight each other until like one champion Palpatine wins over
Champatine.
them all?
Champatine.
Like they just force lightning each other's heads off or something. I don't know.
That'd be fun.
I just like I don't need to
wanna
know
watch
the
that.
exact
Yeah.
logistics of how he survived, but just a little.
He's just evil and magic.
I
That's all I need.
but okay, but especially since they tied Rey into his plot line into him, that's where it just becomes kind of like there's no emotional connection there for me as a viewer for Rey and Palpatine. So when that is revealed, I'm just like, well, that sucks for her.
Yeah.
You know, like there's no emotional connection as a viewer. Like I'm not saying he's evil, yes, but like wouldn't there be an interesting part of him where he's like he kind of cares about his granddaughter, but he's evil and he's like, fuck that, I want the universe. Even like something, just a conversation of points like, "Oh, you will die," something like that. I don't know.
Why would you care about this kid you've been trying to kill for the last 20 years?
Except he doesn't want to kill her. He wants her to like kill him. So
Which made
that
no sense, by
she
the way.
absorbs his
What kind of
essence.
7 bullshit is this?
No,
But he also told Kylo Ren to kill her, and he's like, I never wanted you dead. I'm like, bitch, you did.
no,
10 minutes ago, you
Right.
you sent someone to
So-
kill her. You're a liar.
Again, which goes into I don't even
He's
know
so
if JJ
bad.
knows what the fuck he's doing in his
He's
own
so
movie.
bad.
Sometimes it's like, because I will say if you watch Clone Wars, and because we started watching Clone Wars, the movie and the show, and my first I forgot, I was just like, you know, Palpatine as the Chancellor, he's really just trying to fuck shit up for the Jedi, but in a way he's kind of like chaos because he's like letting things play out sometimes. But if it's too good to pass up, then he'll intercede as the Emperor, or as the Sith, and then and him and Dooku or whatever. But sometimes it's almost like he's just like, let's see what Dooku does, and I've set everything up for you to
Dookie.
fuck up the Jedi, but let's see how this plays out. Which in itself is fascinating, but like he is actually giving multiple chances for his side to just create this massive hate towards the Jedi, like little things here, like in the movie, it's like they kidnap the Hutts, and that will close off the trade route, which means Tatooine will probably fall to the Separatists, and that whole Outer Rim region will fall to the Separatists, that kind of thing, which
Yeah.
is another setback for the Jedi.
He's good at planning long term. Like he sees not just like a couple of moves ahead, but like
Well, he's patient.
whole games
He's patient.
ahead.
He plays the long con.
Which is
Very
cool.
much.
I don't know. I just felt like it was a weird, out of this whole time, it was a weird, which goes into a creative problem, who's running the ship. Like, I felt like they would have said something in the last movie or something if, I don't know. I haven't seen it a second time, though, and I do want to see it a second time. So I want to.
Yeah, I think that's...
I think I will enjoy it more.
So another thing I liked is that the spy was Hux. And his reason for being a spy was because fuck that guy.
Yeah.
That I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that sounds right.
Yep.
But I don't think he'd be dumb enough to be like, you need to shoot me. I think he'd be like, well, I helped you escape. I need to get the fuck out.
Right. Yeah. So that's where I was just like, I agree with that, because I just wish it felt like they crammed 2 movies into one movie, because I felt like that would have played out over time, because like because I felt that would be more fascinating. It's like, well, he's on our side, and then it's like, well, why? And it's like, no, I don't give a shit about your little war. I want to fucking see Kylo Ren dead because I want his spot. And I'm like, well, no, that is completely in character, and I thought that was a great. But I was just like, literally, we just found out you were the spy. Could you just hold off on that? And you're gonna die. And then he died. Like Richard E. Grant, by the way, I love him in everything he does, even when the movie itself might not be as good. I'm not saying that in this film, but I'm talking about like just other projects. Like he's done 1 or 2 episodes of Doctor Who, which have been okay, but like he's fantastic in. I love him to death, and so he was just he looked like he was having so much fun, and I could tell, and I was enjoying it.
Have you ever seen Spice World?
Yeah, he plays the agent.
So yeah, he's their manager, and I always call him Clifford whenever I see him in anything, and that's how I refer to him, even though I know he has a name. I'm always like, Clifford! And he is always amazing.
Well, so here's the other thing. This blows a little bit into your Finn and whatever, Kerry Russell's character.
No, it doesn't. Because Finn, or Poe, sorry. Poe is like Kirk. He's pansexual. He'll fuck anybody in the galaxy, I think.
Okay, so...
I can see that.
So, talking about... Because Lando, I think, is in the same boat, I would say. At least if you watch Solo and Return of the Jedi and Empire... And then this one, it's like, he's made me cool down a bit.
He's old.
Because he's old. I'm just sticking with one type of... Just let's go female.
He just can't do it as frequently.
Okay. I forget the exact exchange, but my wife and I both shared a look at each other when he's talking to the one other stormtrooper that Finn found.
Yeah.
If you read the books, apparently it is his daughter.
Oh, God. I was waiting for them to say something, and I was like, please don't, please don't, please don't.
She just goes, I never knew who I was, and I think he just goes...
well, we can find out.
But we can find out. But I feel like him giving a look of just smiling... Because I felt like he gave her a look first, and then it was like a pause, and then I felt like... To me, it came off as Lando going... Let's find out and fuck. Or something like that. It's like, I'm going to mac on you is how it came off of. And it came off creepy because I was like, I bet you anything that's his daughter. So it just came out and Sarah was like, it was weird and creepy.
I mean,
and I was
like... It wouldn't be unprecedented in Star Wars.
I mean, technically, she took the name Skywalker and they kissed before he died. So, like, passionately. Which, again, makes sense for Star Wars. Luke and Leia. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
Here's the thing. As someone pointed out to me, Anakin's mom got pregnant by midichlorians or some bullshit. Yeah, Rey can still have a Skywalker baby.
It's true.
I'd read that fanfiction.
Ben Solo gave her his essence. Maybe there is
inside her
essence.
Oh my God!
It's inside her.
I am currently vomiting into my microphone.
That's so not cool.
My one complaint: they didn't have.
I apologize for ruining your microphone.
It's okay. I'm kind of there with you.
I mean, come on. Anakin Skywalker was the product of an immaculate conception.
But I will say, well, it wasn't immaculate. Okay, I didn't think it was immaculate. I thought it was pretty much it was Palpatine who did that, who used the.
So
Palpatine does everything.
Real good at making people pregnant. That's what I'm getting.
Priggers. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Maybe that was Palpatine's plan all along. Was he gets a bit of himself injected into Rey's uterus.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, man.
That's where it's going. That's how it's going to go. Boom! Yeah. She's going to kill him. His essence is going to go right in the baby maker.
Right in the baby maker.
No thanks.
I am now trying to invoke vomiting.
You're going to give birth to a little mini Ian McDermott.
I'll send out...
Well, he's adorable. And he's very charming as Ian McDermott. Now, as the Emperor, not so much. But I find him to be absolutely charming. Now, did everyone like the Jedi's, the Force Jedi's of Jedi Past or whatever? I thought that was a kind of cool sequence.
I was waiting, and I think I texted you. It was just like, Rey, you can do it, Rey. Remember who you are. That's what I wanted.
Well,
Simba.
So, I thought it was really cool because I was watching and I was like, there's Yoda, Samuel L. Jackson. Was that Sir Alec? Yeah, that was Sir Alec. Oh, hey, I think that was Ian McGregor, too. They did both. And then I was like, there's Luke. There's Leia. And I was like, why the fuck Freddie Prinze Jr.? Oh, Kanan from Rebels. Cool. And then I heard Ahsoka Tano in there, too. They were
Are you kidding me? You were able to tell that?
Yeah. Well, Freddie Prinze Jr. has a very weird
Apparently,
voice.
Qui-Gon Jinn was in there too.
Qui-Gon, I think, was the last one.
And I was like, wow, I didn't catch any of those except Yoda
I got
and Darth Vader.
No, there was another one that I didn't catch. I
skill
think it
set
was
were those.
Qui-Gon. I can't say his name. He's the guy with the weird tusk and wears a mask. I don't know. I remember him heavily from the Clone Wars show, but I don't remember his character outside of that. But
If I could go a little bigger picture on the whole
Hit me.
thing,
hit us,
please.
Do it.
One of the things, okay, we all know how we feel about George Lucas, right? I mean, deeply flawed filmmaker, to say the least. But
Sure.
the original films were not conceived as individual films, but 3 chapters of a single cohesive storyline.
Sure.
And regardless of how proficient he was at doing shit, let's just put it that way,
That's a nice way of saying that.
it was a series of stories that were connected by a single vision.
Yeah.
And that is where I think this the new series just completely failed, because I'll be honest, I would have really... I like Rian Johnson. I haven't seen much of his stuff, admittedly. I mean, Looper and Knives Out, saw both of those, really love them. I would have actually liked to have seen him do this entire series with that kill the past, let it die. If it had been him the whole time with his vision.
Yeah.
Or I would have been happy to seen J.J. Abrams with his vision. It probably would have been a lot more like Christmas at Toys R Us, but, it would have been one cohesive vision instead of this back and forth bullshit.
Well, I kind of feel like J. James' whole thing in general is mystery box. Create the mystery box, and then it becomes a question of, well, let's work backwards from the mystery box. And it's like, mystery box can only get you so far, and I feel like mystery box is technically, it's a MacGuffin where the mystery's within the MacGuffin. Like the original Star Wars, the MacGuffin was the droids, and we already know the question was more, who's Obi-Wan Kenobi and why is he our only hope? That's kind of it. But we know exactly who the droids are, and we know definitely there's a good guy and a bad guy, and it's Darth Vader's the bad guy. But this, I kind of feel like JJ always, in a lot of his movies, tries to do the mystery box. And I feel like the first Star Trek wasn't really a mystery box per se.
Oh.
Not necessarily. I think it was pretty straightforward. It's like, someone fucked up the timeline. Oops. Things are different now. Kirk might not be the captain. And it's like, how do we get back to that? The second one, though, was very much like Khan was the mystery box. And it's just like, Jesus Christ. I don't care about that. I didn't like Into Darkness as much. But I feel like you're right. But the good news is that Rian Johnson is still doing his trilogy. I think it's not due out till 2022 or something. But
So he's doing a separate Star Wars
and
trilogy?
it's taking place in the Knights of the Old Republic era.
Oh.
So it might be like way like with the Proto Sabers. I mean, I have no idea. I find that to be really cool, but yeah.
Is that the one that Game of Thrones people were supposed to do and they got kicked off?
No, that was so they were going to do their own one too. There was going to be 2. Well, I think honestly what happened was Game of Thrones imploded at the end, and Lucasfilm was just like, I think we're good here. And also they took the Netflix deal, and they're just like, we can't work on this many things. Supposedly. I think that Lucasfilm was the one that cut the tether, not the other way around, but I think those guys were just like, we can't work on too many things. I'm like...
Well, I thought that they originally sped up the end of Game of Thrones to work on Star Wars.
I suppose.
Well, that was a bad idea.
That was a very bad idea. Yeah.
So what else I liked in this movie
Yeah.
was little baby godfather Babu Frick.
Babu Frick.
Yeah.
He was basically Marlon Brando, but cute and tiny.
I liked him too.
I loved him.
Did I feel like, didn't the original trilogy, like at least the one that had all the Muppets in it, Return of the Jedi, didn't they have subtitles so even the characters couldn't understand and we couldn't understand what Jabba was saying and stuff like that?
Jabba had
Yeah.
subtitles, but not everybody
He could
had
afford them.
Because Chewie didn't have subtitles,
Yeah,
and
That's
R2
surprising.
didn't have any.
Yeah. Well, R2 is also cussing a lot.
Yeah, they'd have to make that rate. They'd have to R-rate that.
Supposedly, A New Hope, I thought it was the first few pages where it's him and C-3PO. He actually has dialogue, and so Anthony Daniels know what the hell he's saying back to, and there's a few F-bombs. because that's why he's like, "What's your language?" Poof. Yeah, it's.
I mean, R2 is full of the sass. Even if you don't know what specific words he's using, you can usually tell when he's.
Yeah,
Whenever he's making the fart noises, I assume he's cursing.
Yeah.
Going back to this, I feel like R2 has been the most prevalent force in all the movies. Like, he's the one standard. But that's why I just really like... I really like C-3PO. Like, he got his little moment to fucking shine and just not... I mean, because beyond that, I think the last moment he really had to shine was Return of the Jedi, where he was talking to the Ewoks. But that kind of got out of hand.
Oh, yeah, when they were like, we're going to... It's one of the moons of Endor. I was like, oh, this again.
Well, right.
Back to Endor.
But they showed Wicket.
You know those little Ewoks were
Those
like...
Ewoks.
The fuck? I thought we did this. I What's happening?
Happens every 30 years or so.
Yeah. So what else did you like? I'm sorry.
What else did I like?
Yeah. Or Becky, you too. Chime in. I mean,
I enjoyed when he was Ben again. Ben again.
Yeah.
And he's like...
I like Bennigan.
He looked like a little... It's like what a little emo 16-year-old would wear on a rainy day and look outside, staring into the middle distance.
So
that
I didn't
sweater.
get this, but apparently JJ was like, that whole scene was meant to showcase the sexual friction between the two. And I was like, really? He's like, well, she's soaked and wet. He's soaked and wet. And I was just like,
God.
I guess they're
I
on a
thought he
planet
wasn't
with water?
actually there at first. Like, I thought it was just another one of their, like, connection thingies. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's not... What? Why? Why now? And then it was like, he's actually here. Oh. What are you doing here?
You know, a moment I liked, which is I think in that moment where she goes, I really did think I was going to grab... I wanted to grab your hand.
Ben's hand.
I wanted to grab,
yeah.
I wanted to grab Ben's hand. I was like, that fucking great. I like that.
Yeah.
I also liked the moment where Han came back and he and Ben had that moment.
That's really for all the older people who were pissed off at the end of Force Awakens. They were just like, you can't kill Harrison Ford. And not
Sure
bring
I
him back.
can.
Well, I mean, you can, but like...
Well, and I liked the distinction between he's like, I'm just a memory. He's not a ghost. He's not anything else. He's just his memory of his dad.
This is a very haunted galaxy.
Yeah.
It is. Well,
And he's a very haunted boy. Well, I guess he's a man now.
Well,
It's a very haunted man.
Man boy.
Man
He's
boy.
a haunted dude.
yeah. I also really... Okay, Matt Smith... Let's talk about this too. Matt Smith was supposed to be in this movie
What?
as a bad guy.
Ooh. He would just have to stand there.
Matt
It's kinda
Smith is
creepy.
not anywhere in that movie that I can
No.
see. The hell?
He dodged a bullet?
I mean, I would have
Dodged
liked...
a lot of money.
Well, I mean,
That
no,
too.
they shot his stuff.
Did they?
Yeah, it's just completely cut out of the movie. I thought supposedly he was supposed to be one of the Knights of Ren. Supposedly.
So they Carrie Russelled him, basically.
Well, Jesus, at least Carrie Russell had like,
Eyes?
5 lines, and her eyes, her beautiful.
I
peepers.
didn't know it was her. It's like, she's real familiar. And I did not connect the dots when looking at I was like, where was Carrie Russell?
Okay. Also, didn't her planet get destroyed?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
she got off.
With the cute little dude guy.
And that's
Godfather.
really what
Also,
matters,
did
is that
anyone
the
feel
Godfather
effects
lived.
Of that, didn't it feel like it was something done by like a late night show where it's just like, I'm okay, and then someone
Yeah.
it looks like a transpose of like Babadoo or whatever. It looked like something that Jimmy Kimmel would do, where it was like superimposed. I was happy too because I like that character, but I was just like, guys, I felt like throwing in the very last minute.
It's because they know what we care about, and it's weird little creatures with funny voices.
Oh, God.
That's why I love Yoda. That's why he's my
You mean the
favorite.
child? Or
No,
you talking about
Yoda is my favorite.
Okay, because the child's pretty boss too.
I haven't watched
Neither
The
have I.
Mandalorian.
I haven't either,
sorry.
but every day I look for new Baby Yoda memes.
I do
Because
too.
Baby Yoda,
Mary
Yoda
Ann,
is so
who's
he's
supposed
stinking
to do the
cute.
show,
Who shares them all the
She shares
time.
them every day. I think there's like a Facebook page that like every day they share a new The Child meme. But they call it Baby Yoda memes, but it's called The Child. Do
It's
not.
fine. He's adorable.
I know
He
it's
is.
not really Yoda, but we don't know what his species is, so Baby Yoda.
I have a
And
Yoda like
whoever-
doll.
Whoever designed the Baby Yoda Muppet should win all of the awards because that thing is so stinking cute.
So when you do watch it, and we'll do an actual podcast episode about it, but supposedly Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni from Clone Wars, they were going to do CGI all of the baby, and just do like a rough outline so it's not an animatronic. And apparently Werner Herzog, they had the test there, like just to do some test scenes or whatever. And apparently Werner Herzog gave him shit, like ripped him all across. He's like,
Good.
Yeah. No. And when you watch it, you're just like, oh, thank God they didn't do that because it's so fucking adorable. And it looks way more real than, like, there are times where I can't necessarily tell it's CGI. They're CGIing the kid or not CGIing him, or, you know what I mean? Like, because most of it's just him looking around and cooing and stuff like that. But, like, it's so cool. Oh, yeah.
The last episode comes out, what, next week? Or
Yes.
something like that? Yeah, so that's when I'll be watching all of them.
That's probably smart.
I will be
'cause this last
binge watching.
one was a humdinger. I don't want to say any more than that.
I heard.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Which I will give Disney props for. They released that the day before episode 9 came out, because it usually comes out on Friday, but movies open on Thursday.
We won't conflict this interest Wednesday.
Yeah, give you that day notice.
Boom.
Yeah.
Don't cross the streams,
Crossing the stream.
the revenue streams.
I don't think Disney cares about the revenue streams getting crossed because they're still going to make all the money.
Yeah.
I mean, especially now that they own Fox. Today one felt like she had given up being a Jedi, too, at the end until she pulled out her own lightsaber. Because she buried the other lightsabers in the sand.
I wondered if she was gonna pull out her own, or if she was gonna like retire to like Luke Skywalker, like to Tatooine.
Yeah, I was like, why the
or-
fuck are you here?
She would have to sweep out a lot of sand.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
would.
But I did like that. I don't know. Maybe it was an outtake they kept in, but when she slides down in the thing,
Yeah.
Daisy Ridley is having a fucking blast.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you're having fun here. I appreciate that.
Would she have a gold? Was
Yeah.
it gold?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's new.
What happened?
She had a gold lightsaber.
Oh, yellow. Yeah.
Oh, okay. We
No,
can go
I-
with a lesser color.
Any other thoughts about Rise of Skywalker?
I actually, for all the negativity and shade that I've been throwing on this, I actually would like to talk about some of the things I did like about
Thank
the
you,
movie.
Travis, because I'm having a hard time getting to that part for myself, too, because I did
Yeah.
enjoy a lot in the movie, but I guess my writer brain is picking on that.
Yeah, my writer brain overall found it disappointing, but there were moments that were nice in the movie. Like, one of the things that I liked was, okay, at the end, I at least appreciated that he didn't make the resolution easy. You know? I mean, every time it looked like they were going to do the big predictable save, then out came the Force lightning, which basically took down all the ships. You know? It's
Okay.
like, they thought you were going to save us, but no, screw you. You're all going to die.
Yeah.
So, like, every time there was supposed to be, like, a Deus Ex Machina, they would say, nope. They would, and I thought that this was appropriate. Like, the bad guys were smart enough to say, oh, they're gonna try and do that because they've done that before. So we're gonna, like, with the whole,
with
what
the
was the whole
tower.
directional thing? What
It
was
was
that?
like
I didn't
the
understand that.
relay tower or
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that they had to. That's where they were like communicating with or something.
Oh,
It's like
you-
their radio tower.
Oh, you mean where they were getting their main ship commands from, or something like
Yeah.
that? You're talking about the end
And they're
with
like,
the fleet.
oh, then we're not
Yeah.
going to
We have
use
to destroy
that.
that tower on the ground, and then Richard E. Grant was just, or Hunt or whatever. He's just like, transfer that signal up here to the mothership or whatever.
Because they're going for that.
Because they're going for that. We
Why
won't fall
would
for that.
why would you even do something like that in the first place? Why would you centralize the only relay between
it's
all
Star
the
Wars.
ships?
Here's the thing: as someone who's seen Rogue One, sometimes you put a random button on a beach. Because why the fuck not? I guess.
That's fair. That's
And
fair.
sometimes you put a random button at the end of a catwalk. There
Maybe-
weren't any catwalk fights.
Nope.
Yeah.
Disappoint.
Yeah.
Maybe it was an act of rebellion. The button on the beach.
An act of
and
rebellion.
The weird tower. in the middle.
That's funny.
like what's his
Rebellion.
face in the one I really like, Rogue One. Like the scientist guy. Like
He's
when he
like, I
built
purposely put a shitty access hole in here.
Oh yeah. Maybe that's what the random button on the beach was. Was
was
somebody
one of
being
those-
like, "Oh, fuck you, Empire!
All
I'm
those
gonna make the
kidnapped
button that can
children.
destroy
What I'm
that
saying
beach."
is, they didn't let incompetence just basically be the reason why the bad guys lost necessarily.
Oh, right. I mean, well, I will say that's the one thing most Star Wars does really well is that I mean, yes, the stormtroopers are lousy shots for the most part, but like on the whole, the leadership of the bad guys is usually pretty good. They think things through, like, you know, like which of course is to me one of the great things about Return of the Jedi is that, like, if you would show me a little teddy bear and it's not a Wookiee, my first is like, yeah, rebels are fucked if they try to come on the Endor planet. And that was kind of the point. They were civilized enough they could do damage to the Empire, which completely caught them off guard, and they were able to help the rebellion shut down, whatever. Again, though, beyond that, like when he shows Luke the display, he's like, your friends will die, and you failed, and you will fail, and everyone's going to fail, because I have this well plotted out, and you're just like, damn, this is really... Oh, did someone point this out to me the other day, too, right when the movie came out? And maybe it was you or someone, I don't know, maybe not.
Tell me what
it was someone took a picture from Return of the Jedi, and it's when he's like, Obi-Wan has taught you, it's in the throne room fight in Jedi, and it's like, Obi-Wan has taught you well, and it shows Luke in the high ground and Vader in the low ground, and it's like, that is fucking dead
I saw
on.
That too.
Yeah, that was, I was like, bravo. I mean, now, I hope Lucas would use that as the basis for that whole thing, but probably not.
Nah.
No, other things I liked in this movie. I did like Lando coming back. My wife was kind of the opinion of, like, he just kind of shows up, and that's kind of weird. And I was like, yeah, but it's Lando. Everybody loves Lando.
I assume he's been off doing Lando shit, helping when he can.
And even though they did set that up for like a
banging
spin-off
to get
or
info.
TV show.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Info.
There was a part of me that was like, well, Luke did do shit.
And having fun.
Of course.
Which I liked a lot. Like, Luke did try to do stuff, and like Lando, like, he had other adventures with these characters that we just never got to see, which was nice. I did like, even though I didn't like the execution necessarily of it, I like that Luke chose a great time to come back when she's throwing it into the fire and he catches it. I was just like, of course he's going to come back then and catch it. I didn't like the line that followed it after, but I thought that was really cool. I just like Luke. I just want to see all Luke and all the things.
Yeah.
Anyone else? What else did you like, Jess or Becky?
I mean, I thought there were like moments throughout, like C-3PO's. There was another that was like, oh, General Hux, I sense some disturbance from you. And he's like, no, I love your helmet. I love what you did with your helmet. It's fabulous. Like, I was just like, way to deflect. And the other generals are like, yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
I liked that in this one, like, I think it sucks that Rose was totally sidelined.
Yeah, that sucks.
But I liked that Poe, Finn, and Rey were
a lot of scenes together.
They were together a lot.
And I will say that when they were together, like, even if I didn't like how things were unfolding, their scenes together, it was really palpable. Their chemistry, that was what I was looking for. Their chemistry together was really good, and, like, you know, was really great, and you could really see the friendship there, which was nice.
Yeah, and something I liked. So one thing I loved in the last movie is that Poe does his cowboy Han Solo bullshit, even when he's told not to, and he fails. I thought that was great, because if you did that kind of bullshit, you never hear about the thousands of people who died because you did this bullshit, but you succeeded in the end.
But then in this one, he does it again.
But in this one, he does it again and succeeds. And I was like, but this is the end fight. And it's like, I was like, I'm okay with it. I really liked that point. You'd like to think he grew as a person. Which he grew enough to be like, I can't do this on my own.
That was growth.
So he grew a little bit.
A little.
But I also felt like in this one, they had a little less of a choice. It's like, they can just fucking destroy the planet now, so we need to do something.
Right. And I think that kind of led into, in all fairness to that, like, because when I was watching, I was like, wow, it's like he's learned nothing, and everything he learned in the last movie just went away.
Like so many other things?
Like so many other things, but, and blatantly as well. It's not just like, oh, he's just not thinking about it. It's like, no, we're talking about how we're not doing that. Like, hey, Rose, say the fuck here, is how that whole scene kind of feels.
Well,
like.
that was Finn, though.
Well, right, but still, it just like feels very blatant, and it's kind of like with that. But he did have that scene where he's just like, I'm in charge. He almost kind of like goes into like a weird, like, I don't know what to do. I can't do. That's when he's like, I can't do this on my own. And I'm like, smart. Okay. You won me back a little bit with that one. I'll give you that.
He's like, I need my BF.
Was it one of our friends posted an anime gif of like Finn and he pulls up Rey and kisses her, and then in the other hand he pulls up, he's doing reps.
That is from like the first movie.
One. I love that gif. I'm totally okay with that.
Yeah,
I am
me too.
I'm a shipper though. If you ship characters together, I will probably be fine for the most part.
Ship it.
Yeah.
I would ship that threesome.
Me too.
And then like Chewie just travels around with them, and he's like the dad.
Yeah.
So okay, so with that, so the ending for everyone but Rey. I get Rey as our lead, but I kind of feel like Finn was our second lead. Kind of, you know, Poe I care about, but you know he'll probably end up with Finn. So where the hell's Finn? We just got Rey's ending, and of course, I felt like that was just because we're calling the movie Rise of Skywalker. We should probably have it make sense. Let's end it with that.
Why should any of it make sense?
You're right. I'm sorry. Very foolish of me. I mean, the last movie's director fucked everything else that the previous guy did, and
I would
Which was-
appreciate, I mean, and they can't do it anymore, I guess, them stop trying to introduce new love interests for Finn, because every movie he has a new one. And I'm like, could you just
who was
stop
his love interest in this one?
the other stormtrooper lady who is immediately devoted to him?
Yeah, you're right.
I'm like,
just
stop introducing potential mates. We don't need other ones.
It's Poe. Maybe it's Poe and Rey, but it's Poe.
Who cares?
Just be honest.
I
It's Poe.
care.
Abrams didn't.
Well, just because Abrams didn't doesn't mean he
But
should.
maybe he did, and that was part that had to get cut.
No, he cared about that incestuous kiss with Ben. That's what he cared about. He's like, well, Leia and Luke kissed, and
What
I just really
incestuous
wanted to. Yeah.
Between Rey and
They're not siblings?
yeah,
But if she takes the name Skywalker, she kind of.
but not until after.
Is
They're forced
your
siblings.
blood.
Is your wife... Your wife took your name?
As a partner, yeah.
Yeah, why
As a-
wouldn't it be that?
I don't know.
And
Don't confuse me.
Skywalker isn't Ben's name. He's Solo.
Oh, yeah.
Although he has that Skywalker blood.
Oh yeah.
I definitely thought he was the Skywalker that would rise.
I did too.
And I guess he kind of rose from his depths to be...
Ben Solo.
But
Ben
after
again.
you're redeemed, but in Star Wars land, after you're redeemed, you don't get to live for very long. It's like you're redeemed, and then like maybe you do one final like act of redemption, or just like you're redeemed, and then that's it. You're dead.
And then
So-
Hayden Christensen represents you as a Force ghost.
And then, like, to be fair,
That's not
there's
his
really
fault.
nothing good that could have come of him living. It's like, you've killed thousands, if not millions of people.
You need to
You're not
spend-
going to have a happy ending.
You need to go to jail, and
or be executed. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to...
And if I may say this, just to break in for
it.
complete non sequitur, I think we've seen proved like at least 4 times over, the way to not kill a Jedi or a Sith is to throw them down a shaft.
Which means Mace Windu's still alive.
Oh, he was thrown out of a building. That's different.
Oh, I'm
But
sorry.
the way
That's
to
right, you're
kill
right.
a Disney villain is to throw them from a high place.
Indeed. But that,
no.
I mean, they Dark Phoenix Palpatine in this one, meaning that he's nothing but dust.
Deuced.
Dust.
He's
He's
the
nothing
dust.
but dust. Which I thought was like, man, I mean, he's dead. He's dead. And
One
so
can
are all
hope.
his followers.
For real.
Yeah, faux
One can hope.
show. Yeah, I kind of felt like this is horrible because I've been watching Parks and Rec. I kind of feel like Palpatine at one point. It's like, I'm going to steal your Force soul and treat yourself. Yeah, so, like at one point I expected that big claw thing to him just turn to one of his floaters. It's like, and they just go, "Want some more life, Palpy? Treat yourself." He's like, "Very well." Yeah. Jesus Christ. Actually, that would be really funny if it was like, what's his name? Was it I forget her name. I forget the character's name.
treat yourself.
Yeah, treat yourself.
Donna Meagle.
Donna and
Tom.
Tom.
yeah,
Yeah.
Tom, have a
Yeah.
hood.
Tom. Yeah. Just have Donna and Tom there, and have them be like bored that they're there.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you want that? Treat yourself. Do you want the universe? treat yourself.
Do you want their life force? Treat yourself.
He's like, I don't know. Actually, this guys, we're writing the next Robot Chicken. Seth Green, give us a call. It's like,
I feel like we're not taking this seriously enough. Do you? You?
yeah,
You?
Do we have to be serious?
No, we don't have to be serious at all. Why?
I'm
So
barely
serious?
taking what I'm saying serious.
So, any other thoughts about Rise of Skywalker, good or bad?
I missed Carrie Fisher.
Yeah.
I mean, given what they would have had her do, I assume, if she were alive, it really made me miss her in that. Because I actually really, if I may mention another moment that I liked, I actually, the battle on the wreckage of the Death Star with that, I really actually quite liked that moment.
I did too. Actually, yeah, I agree with that. Well, I thought it was funny. So, and I meant to mention when I asked this earlier about Carrie Fisher, the first few times you saw her, it felt very stilted because that's the amount of footage they have of her. But at some point, it did start to flow a little bit nicer, or maybe I just stopped caring about it because I was invested with what was going on. But when it got to that part, I mean, outside of the joke of like, let me guess, she has to die, and then she does, but like it's heartbreaking because it's sad because Ben did love he really did have a connection with his mom, and it was very well done how they did it, and it was heart-wrenching.
Correct me if I'm wrong, she was basically attempting to do in her less proficient way the same thing that Luke did at the end of The Last Jedi, projecting herself across the universe, across the galaxy in a way.
But she didn't project herself, did she?
Not in the literal sense of projecting an image, but
Yeah.
she was trying to reach him.
Yeah.
Oh, I think maybe then, yeah.
I feel like it was the same sort of thing that he did, but because,
Possibly, but Luke lasted longer because he had more training.
Yes.
Which, the flashback of young Leia and young Luke, that was cool. The young Leia part kind of bothered me because it looked like it was Billie Lourd, her daughter, and they just didn't do anything to her face, while they completely made him look fucking young, like old Luke, which I thought was really cool. Yeah, I would have been interested to see how they would have had Carrie, because supposedly Carrie would have fought Ben and then probably died fighting Ben, and then brought him back, that kind of thing. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it would have been such a, even if it was still like as writing wise a little bit of a mess, I feel I would have been really interested to see that mess too. You know what I mean? Like, I would have really liked that. And also Carrie Fisher helped with dialogue. Anything really snippy or great in the first Force Awakens and Last Jedi, she would add little zingers in. And we didn't. You don't have that. But no, I really liked that scene too. I thought that whole battle on the Death Star wreckage was really cool. Especially when she fought herself. Again, that whole sequence was just really good. Like, even when she fought the Darth version of herself, Rey did, was really cool. It almost looked like an Inquisitor lightsaber mixed with the Darth Maul one. It was really cool.
I really liked the shots, like when they're communicating with each other, or when they're connected and they're fighting the Sith at the end.
That's rad.
And you keep getting these like real close-ups of their faces and how they're like looking at us, but looking at each other.
I will say, yeah, and the scenes where they're on Carrie whatever's planet, and she's up in the ship and he's down on the planet, and they're sharing the scene. That was just very well done. And I thought I hate to say it, but Ryan, I think, did a little bit of it in Last Jedi, but I feel like JJ actually nailed what you were trying to do in that scene. But granted, you were doing more complex stuff with it in terms of, I think the most complex thing is that he grabs her hand on the planet of Ahch-To during the storm, and that's kind of, and when Luke walks in. Like, this was very more complex. Like, they're fighting each other, Force fighting each other in different... Yeah.
Although I have to admit, the Force is selectively weak and strong. If he couldn't tell that she was up on the ship, like right above him on his ship.
Well, I think that's been a common problem I've had with a lot of Star Wars, is the Force chooses... Freddie Prinze Jr. lost his shit, I think, when Rebels ended. Or no, it was when Last Jedi came out. He lost because he actually got to work with George Lucas a little bit, and I think he did like a guest role on Clone Wars. I don't know what he did, but so he's gone to speak with Lucas, and Filoni worked with Lucas especially, and he's just like, the Force decides everything. So all this bad shit that happens, it's the Force's doing. That was always the plan. He says it way better, and there's way more F-bombs. And like, if you listen to it, if you get through the F-bombs, it kind of makes sense, but it's like the Force is just there, and it just kind of goes like this, and whatever it lets
Wibbly
through.
wobbly, timey-wimey.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, and whatever gets through, gets through.
So it's like a lava lamp.
Yeah. But so you're not wrong on that. Like, the Force is very choosy. It's like, of all the times we could have knocked up a woman with a fourth baby, this is the one time we're going to let somebody do it.
It's because the Force gets bored and likes to stir up shit.
Just like God would.
Yeah, I've read the Old Testament.
The extra work in some of the sequences towards the end were pretty interesting. There were some people that were like hardcore overacting, and there were other people that were like, oh no, we've been attacked or whatever, so we gotta get going or whatever. Or when Leia died, like, I think they came over to tell Poe. And I just remember there was a whole little subgroup of people, and there was this one girl that had like a blast helmet or something, and she was just like, oh my god, what? Like, and I was just like, oh dear, that got through somehow. Because I didn't know how, I didn't think people care that much about extras apparently in the background until I was watching Almost Famous, and during the graduation scene, there's like a girl and is doing the same kind of thing. She's totally overacting it, and apparently they just didn't do enough coverage. And he's like, I'm fucking stuck with that girl in the background overacting her ass off. I hate it so much. It's all I see when I watch a scene. And of course his mom's like, but it's a good scene, Cameron. It's like, no, that's all I see. And now I'm just like, is this all I will see if I watch this movie again? I'll be looking up for the Asian girl with the blast helmet. Because first I was like, is that Rose? That's not Rose. Totally not Rose. It feels like it should be Rose because she's in the fucking background a lot. But no, it's just it was like her and two other. Yeah, I feel bad for Rose. I just thought that was some of the extra game. That's all I had.
I just need to see it again.
I do need to see it again, and
stuff.
I do feel like my writer brain will just slowly just shut off, and I will enjoy it.
And I saw it in Dolby.
The Dolby was
great.
amazing. It was great.
Oh yeah, that's why my ears were bleeding.
Shaking.
I said before, like some of the Dolby mix, the Dolby mix on this one was phenomenal. Like when the ships would go across one side of the screen to the other, I could feel it kind of go, which was nice because outside of that, I feel like Doctor Sleep has only been the good.
I still haven't seen it.
It's really good. They're releasing the director's cut in January. Well, everybody, thank you all for offering your thoughts. I'm sorry for those listening that we kind of went down the darker path.
Might be.
No. Actually, Jessica and Becky kept it light and talked about some of the good stuff because I felt like me and Travis were kind of just like, here's all the bad stuff. And Travis came back at the end and was like, here's my redemption arc. Here's some good things I liked about him. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, I guess.
I gotta be a nice guy sometimes.
Raylo.
Smooched.
Loved it.
The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is presented by D4K Studios. Nick Argenbright and William Dell are executive producers. Co-producers are Ashley Carlson and Catherine Ranella. Editing and mixing are provided by Aurality. Find out how Aurality can help you by going to facebook.com/Aurality Sounds. The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is also made possible by our Kickstarter backers. To see our backers, check out our show notes over at gbgpodcast.com. The theme and end credit tracks for The Good, the Bad, and the Geeky is by chiptune artist Hide Your Tigers. You can check out their music by going to hideyourtigers.bandcamp.com. We also featured the track from Futurama, The Devil's Hands Are Idle Playthings, an arrangement by our own Nathan Haley. If you enjoy our program, be sure to subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts and to leave a review or subscribe to wherever podcasts are streamed. Thanks for listening.
Get out of here without cheese! You're a creep! Go away! We're having a good time until you showed up, cheapers! have some coffee with cream or something? Because I'll tell you something. This is a happy place.